Okay, hey, my name is Charlie Robertson. I was born here in 1946, and I'm going to be doing some songs for you today that I wrote. And this is the first one. This is called Heartland 1970. The bright lights of the Heartland shine like dimes in a poor man's eyes. It's just heartfelt words of wisdom remembered at the speed of light. Specks out on the highway, looking for some promised land. In a ruptured two-tone Chevy, on a loan from Uncle Sam. We were north of Oklahoma, way out west of Tennessee, south of nowhere worth remembering, defying gravity. And the bright lights of the Heartland shine like dimes in a poor man's eyes. It's just heartfelt words of wisdom remembered at the speed of light. The speed of light. We were roaring across the prairies where tornadoes ripped the land of the honest folks that worked and made their living with their hands. There are girls in Junction City working when the sun goes down. They get flown in from Las Vegas each time payday rolls around. And the bright lights of the Heartland shine like dimes in a poor man's eyes. It's just heartfelt words of wisdom remembered at the speed of light. Of light. It's getting harder for me to see. It's getting harder for me to breathe. I got an old man's style, stuck with a young man's pain. Like a drum beat pushing toward the top of the hill. I can't dance and I just can't stand still. Say hello to Ogden, Kansas. Say goodbye to Jacksonville. We've been blown off of the road by a lime green Coupe de Ville with the radio full blast about some dead rock stars abroad. We had Nixon in the White House, real problems with our God. And the bright lights of the Heartland shine like dimes in a poor man's eyes. It's just heartfelt words of wisdom remembered at the speed of light. Speed of light, speed of light, speed of light. Heartland 1970. This is called My Father's House. In my father's house there are shadows on the floor that ripped in through the windows back in 1964 or 65 and stained the walls where only I could see, like a food stain on a bad suit that was tailored just for me. Was I winking at the camera? Was there something in my eye? I was caught in freeze frame hovering between denial and a lie, caught in a pose. Am I too big? Is this whole world too small? I can hear that old man's voice somewhere down the hall. I would stay there with the door closed till the walls would fade to black, and I'd listen to John Richburg and Slim Harpo scratch my back. There was no Armageddon bombshell in there lying on my bed. Confusion gets a haircut, well, his neck remains bright red. And I'm walking in the moonlight on an old familiar path. I feel older than a brown-toned Walker Evans photograph. You play Death and the Maiden during rainstorms in your car, and you play for tips at a local motel poolside tiki bar. And you think about your father's house. The town I call my home now has the fundamental feel of a cash crop gone from bumper to an understood ordeal. We have mined our history poorly here, sold it in the streets, marked our past with t-shirt shops and framed them in concrete. Where my father still lives, the houses stay the same. He greets me on the front porch, shakes my hand, speaks my name. I can see he's so much thinner. He is amused I've lost my hair. In that corner bedroom, all the shadows are still there. Only I can find the shadows where my memories are stored. Slim Harpo and John Richburg, they have gone to their reward. I find myself wondering what my reward will be. In my father's house, things look just the same to me. There are pictures in the foyer of us way back in our prime. Personal inquiries are not welcome at this time. I hold the wall, my eyes cannot get adjusted to this light, and I feel just like a werewolf in a real bad mood tonight. In my father's house, in my father's house, in my father's house. This is called Life in Parentheses. This is dedicated to the memory of a great St. Augustinian, Mr. Ron Zamora. He always asked for this song, and he was a wonderful guy. Monroe and his uncle, they're sitting on the couch. Monroe goes to the window, and he gets down in the crouch. He says, "Uncle, there's a white man in the driveway, and he's stealing your car." Uncle says to Monroe, "Boy, sit your vague ass down. That man ain't stealing nothing that the law does not allow. That is an act of repossession. It's a phrase that strikes me funny. It is the cornerstone in the pyramid of a white guy's sense of money." I spent 28 months in prison for a crime called B&E at this little joint called Rayford. It's the state-run B&B. And I made that license plate that's on the car that fool just jacked. It says hot to go, hell, he can have the car. I want that cool plate back. And it's life in parentheses. It is life in parentheses. Maxine walks the fine line between stoic and depressed. She sees faces at the mall, but she's not that impressed. She was raised on joyful noises, honesty, and table grace. She has evolved to food court pizza and that mystery meat at the Chinese place. Is this some weird rehearsal, or is this adult life? It's like time-release submission without being some guy's wife. She walks past the arcade and those vacant truant boys. Forget the demographics, just dissolve into the noise. She got decent indoor plumbing. She got a roof that seldom leaks. She got a so-so job as a nail tech at the Miss Pristyle Boutique. She got a boyfriend named Travis who cannot spell GED, but he's hard as nails and he's wired on dope and he smells like lust and motel soap. She got a life in parentheses. Life in parentheses. Earlier the next morning, Monroe goes to the repo yard. He knows his white kid Travis that details all the cars, and he gives him $20 for his uncle's license plate to surprise him with when he gets home from driving the bus tonight or day. And old Maxine's saving for a car. She needs $300 down to buy this vintage cruiser Travis said they just brought round. It is a sky blue Lincoln Town car. The bank wants to unload. It is a dinosaur from Detroit for when muscle ruled the road. And she flirts with the black bus driver that drives her home today. She said, I could take you for a ride, but you don't look that brave. He said, I like your purple fingernails and them tattoos on your legs, but I'd be robbing the cradle. She said, no, man, I'd be robbing the grave. And it's life in parentheses. It is life in parentheses. There you go. All right. Well, I'm going to do this one here for you. This is about a place I stayed back in 1974. It's a little hotel in Indiana, just off the town square. And it had a big sign out front and said, this is a working class hotel. Mind your manners. This is a working class hotel. Checkout time is 9. I got a one room left, boy, you better make up your mind. It's just a bed and a desk, man, it's kinda small. Well, the bathroom is down at the end of the hall. I think you know the kind of place I'm talking about. 10 o'clock sharp, the lights go out. This is a working class hotel. People got to get their rest. This is a working class hotel, man. This ain't no luxury suites. There's this greasy little diner next door in case you need something to eat. Well, the pork chops are chewy, the steaks are tough, that meatloaf might hurt you. They give you enough. They got cornbread and chili, culinary leverage. Ketchup is a vegetable, gravy is a beverage. It's a working class diner, not a drink with an umbrella in sight. Well, you can scandalize my name, rate me with your rules, size me up and write me off in language spared for fools. Still I rise in the morning, haul it off down to the job. Men with soft voices and little pink hands are jump-starting Jesus in a faithless land. In a working-class hotel, this ain't nothing but a working-class hotel. Is there another place in town where a poor boy could lay his head? With one of them jacuzzis and a color television, I said. And he said, there's this greasy little place on the southwest side. It's just a drop-dead, bright red, solar-powered, double-wide. People in there, they got criminal statistics, no self-esteem, they got no cognitive ballistics, big pen tattoos of Zodiac's sexual bliss. Well, now, what's it gonna cost me if I choose to stay here tonight? He said, $6 cash, you can take it or leave it. All right. I said, all right. Well, it sure got to beat sleeping in your car. Don't come around here beating on that damn guitar. We got people in here on a hard-earned dollar. Plumbers, masons, portalette scholars, daydreaming waitresses on lipstick travelogues. Well, you can scandalize my name, rate me with your rules, size me up and write me off in a language spared for fools. Still I rise in the morning, haul it on down to the job. Men with soft voices and little pink hands are jump-starting Jesus in a faithless land. In a working-class hotel, a working-class hotel, a working-class hotel. This ain't nothing but a working-class hotel. A working-class hotel, refer to the sign. Checkout time is a 9. Stick around, there'll be more. Hey, I'm back. This is a song about a young man in about 1962 in North Jacksonville who gets a chance to take a mystical car ride with Roy Orbison. When I grow up, I want to be an old hotel with no elevator, creaking stairs, a punch-drunk pimp as a concierge, a clearinghouse for souls that come from far and near. A sign on the 14th floor that says, Roy Orbison slept here. Roses blowing up the street. Whose roses? What roses? Roses I gave her. Roses she said she didn't need. She didn't like me all that much. I was driving too fast on wet brick streets, trying to clear my head, trying to put the right spin on the way that it all went down. At a full frontal huberous black tie function. Is this benediction or extreme unction? Some lover just called your bluff. The price of poker just went up, and I'm riding with Roy Orbison. He is in the backseat singing, I'm running scared, I drove all night. Pretty woman, don't you walk away. Blowing smoke rings toward the light. This is a truly bumpy ride, so hang on tight. I'm riding with Roy Orbison tonight. I saw him staring at a pawn shop window down on 8th and Main, staring at the bad boy Duane Eddy guitars, enjoying the crazy rain. He was drinking something from a styrofoam cup, waiting for a lover that stood him up. Some girl I went to high school with, who would stiff a star. He says, let's go riding on a different freeway, something they call the unnatural causeway, like your mama sent you to the grocery store and you never been around this part of the block before. And I'm riding with Roy Orbison. He is in the backseat singing, I'm running scared, I drove all night. Pretty woman, don't you walk away. Blowing smoke rings toward the light. This is a truly bumpy ride, so hang on tight. I'm riding with Roy Orbison tonight. Well, we took a ride in my blue car, my little surreptitious periwinkle Buick past places where the laws don't care. The nuns flip the bird and the whores quote Shakespeare. Pace yourself, embrace yourself, let it all fall down. There is a bonfire out on the interstate, nobody's leaving town. It's going to take a lot of rain to heal this poor old river. It's going to take more time with Roy for me to just forgive her. And I'm riding with Roy Orbison. He is in the backseat singing, I'm running scared, I drove all night. Pretty woman, don't you walk away. Blowing smoke rings toward the light. This is a truly bumpy ride, so hang on tight. I'm riding with Roy Orbison. Riding with Roy Orbison. Riding with Roy Orbison tonight. And Roy sang, only the lonely know the way I feel tonight. This is a song about a lot of conversations a lot of people are having right now about the toxicity of words. This is called The Violence of Words. Violence of words never leaves a mark. It's visible on skin, it's hard to comprehend. A dirty bomb of nouns, adjectives and verbs can rip this room apart. The violence of words, the violence of words. Violence of words. Starts real slow and moves to crescendo. Insults, taunts, and innuendo. Rhetoric like live wires cracking. Don't hold back. Start attacking. Cover your face. Close your eyes. No need to apologize. Right is wrong and wrong is right. I'll whoop your ass on the way to a fight. Red state, blue state, everyone loses. Open up and pop some fuses. Prepositions raining down. Adverbs, cuss words, and pronouns. Don't give me that beat up look. Your face reads like a comic book. I don't know what breaks your heart, but I can't stop, and you won't start. The violence of words. Violence of words. I hear the violence of words. It never leaves a mark. It's visible on skin. It is hard to comprehend. A dirty bomb of nouns, adjectives and verbs can rip this room apart. The violence of words. The violence of words. Violence of words. You think you know someone, think twice. You think this is all just good, clean fun, think twice. Words we say in desperation bring up sticky situations. Communications hit a snag, Mephistopheles and drag. Things we thought were safe and warm end up as a perfect storm. Better off just counting sheep, close your eyes and just breathe deep. The violence of words. Violence of words. I hear the violence of words. Never leaves a mark that's visible on skin. It's hard to comprehend. A dirty bomb of nouns, adjectives and verbs can rip this room apart. The violence of words, the violence of words. Violence of words. Talking about the violence of words. Here's about a guy who is a failure as a criminal, so he becomes a lounge singer in Nashville, Tennessee. He plays old-time country music in a sports bar, and this is called Nobody's Listening to That Old Fool. Against the brick wall, drinking beer straight from the keg. He had an old Gibson J50. He had an orange prosthetic leg. 2 feet above his head, there was this come to Jesus scene. It was the Raiders against the Chargers on a 52-inch screen. He plays songs that he still remembers for beer and tips, not Cadillacs. Like I left my baby crying in the smoke along the tracks. Silver wings sing me back home. Ring of fire, faded love. Lord, I know, 'cause I was watching from the window up above. All these young studs down on Broadway, man, he could take them all to school. But they're too busy posing as outlaws. They ain't listening to that old fool. One of those teams scored a touchdown. Man, the whole place went insane. He looked down and he checked his tip jar. Well, the total was about the same. He did time in Moundsville Prison, West Virginia, for running shine, kiting checks, and forging passports, and other bold, creative crimes. Lost his leg on an icy back road, prayed for guidance from above. Lost his woman to a sleazy loan shark, a dog-eared page in the book of love. If they'd just shut up and listen, they'd find an undiscovered jewel. But in this place where hearts have barcodes, they ain't listening to that old fool. against the brick wall, drinking beer straight from the keg. He played an old Gibson J50. He had an orange prosthetic leg. Well, I got time for another song for you. Thank you all for tuning in today. And check this link. There's a lot of good music on it. And a lot of good music that's not happening out there. And that's why we're doing this. My name's Charlie Robertson. It's been my pleasure. This is a song about a mermaid with an extremely heavy libido. This is called Eugene. Eugene sends you home with a kiss so strong you go weeks without breathing. You don't get to stay the night. Eugene makes her bed in a candlelit room, the back of a still house, overlooking the Pontchartrain. She sticks a note in your pocket in a plastic bag, says read this later. You take it out when you get home. It says the next full moon, go down to the big lake. Read this note around and read it underwater. Days slide by like the tide, the vernacular of dreams, the poetry of boredom. You wait for the next full moon. On a perfect night with the stars hanging down like kaleidoscope cat's eyes, you wait out to where the water is above you. In a perfect hand she's written, this is where you'll find me now. In this place of birth and death, I will heal your weakness. Like dreams so real, you can almost taste them. I will be your setting sun. We will have our moment. The tide will take you home. Eugene sends you home with a kiss so strong you go weeks without breathing. You don't get to stay the night.